14 days. That is all that stands between a routine settlement cycle and a potential structural test of the silver market. On February 27th, holders of hundreds of millions of ounces in paper contracts gain the legal right to demand physical metal. But inside the vaults, barely 100 million ounces sit in registered form. 4 promises for every 1 ounce available. The drain has not stopped. Inventory has been moving, quietly, steadily, day after day. Institutions see the numbers, risk desks run the models, clearing members understand the ratios, the public sees price charts, professionals see arithmetic, and when arithmetic becomes visible, confidence is no longer assumed. The real question is not whether silver will move. The real question is what happens when too many contract holders decide they want the metal and not the promise. The countdown is measurable, the imbalances documented, and in just 14 days, the system will be required to perform. 14 days remain before February 27th arrives. In most months, that date would pass without attention. Traders would roll their contracts forward, brokers would adjust positions, the exchange would function as it always has. But this time, the arithmetic is different. On February 27th, holders of March silver futures contracts gain the right to demand physical delivery. This is a normal part of commodity markets. Futures contracts allow producers to hedge output and buyers to manage future costs. Every contract represents a formal promise. Each standard silver futures contract represents 5,000 ounces of silver. When multiplied across open interest, the total exposure becomes substantial. Current open interest for the March contract represents roughly 400 million ounces. Some estimates place it closer to 500 million. Even when using the lower estimate, the imbalance is clear. COMEX vaults report approximately 100 million ounces of registered silver. Registered silver is metal designated and available for delivery. It meets exchange standards and is committed to back futures contracts. The ratio therefore approaches 4 ounces promised for every 1 ounce available. If open interest trends higher, the ratio moves closer to 5 to 1. Leverage is common in financial markets. Not every contract holder requests delivery. Most participants close or roll positions before settlement. The system depends on that predictable behavior. However, markets experience stress when behavior changes. If even a modest percentage of contract holders choose to stand for delivery, the exchange must allocate available supply. If demand approaches or exceeds registered inventory, settlement pressure increases. Cash settlements or negotiated solutions may emerge. These tools are legal and established, but they highlight a key point. The system relies on confidence. Confidence supports leverage. As long as participants believe delivery will occur smoothly, few demand it. When ratios widen and inventory declines, professionals reassess risk. Recent data shows silver inventories trending lower with steady outflows over recent weeks. While not unprecedented, the timing matters. Elevated open interest combined with declining registered stocks reduces margin for error. Large financial institutions monitor these numbers continuously. Risk committees calculate delivery scenarios. They evaluate how many contracts could stand for delivery under different conditions. These are not emotional judgments, they are mathematical assessments. The broader public may focus on daily price volatility. Yet price is not the central issue. The primary concern is settlement credibility. A futures exchange operates on the principle that contracts can be honored according to their terms. If that principle holds, the system continues without disruption. If it appears strained even temporarily, trust becomes fragile. Silver also plays a significant industrial role. It is essential in electronics, renewable energy, and medical technology. Any sustained delivery stress would extend beyond trading desks and into supply chains. The coming 14 days represent more than a calendar countdown. They represent a transparency window. Ratios are visible. Inventory is measurable. Contract volume is known. The system may resolve smoothly. Most contracts may roll forward as expected. Additional inventory may be registered. Stability may continue. But the arithmetic cannot be ignored. 4 claims for every 1 unit of available supply leaves limited flexibility if delivery demand rises. Markets rarely announce stress in advance. They reveal it through balance sheets, inventory reports, and settlement cycles. The clock is visible. And soon, the silver market will demonstrate whether confidence remains aligned with quantity. The modern silver market does not move bars of metal with every trade. It moves promises. A trader in New York can buy silver without ever seeing a vault. A fund manager in London can sell contracts without touching a single ounce. A manufacturer in Asia can hedge next year's production without receiving delivery today. This is how futures markets are designed. They are systems of agreements, not warehouses of daily transactions. At its core, a futures contract is simple. It is a legal promise to buy or sell a fixed amount of silver at a specific price on a future date. The contract is standardized, it is regulated, it is cleared through an exchange. This structure creates liquidity. It allows large volumes to change hands quickly. Liquidity is powerful. It reduces friction. It helps businesses manage risk. A mining company can lock in revenue months in advance. An electronics manufacturer can stabilize costs. Banks can facilitate these transactions and earn fees for providing structure. But liquidity also allows expansion. Over time, financial markets have evolved from physical exchange to financial abstraction. The volume of silver traded on paper is many times larger than the volume physically mined each year. This is not illegal. It is not hidden. It is simply how derivatives markets grow. Most participants do not want silver bars delivered to their door. They want price exposure. They want flexibility. They want leverage. So they enter contracts with the expectation that they will close them before delivery is required. This expectation is the quiet assumption that supports the entire structure. If 95% of traders close or roll their contracts, only a small fraction ever requests physical settlement. The exchange operates efficiently under this behavior. Registered inventory does not need to match total open interest. It only needs to match expected delivery demand. This is where leverage enters the picture. In gold markets, a paper-to-physical ratio of roughly 2 or 3 to 1 is considered normal. In silver, that ratio has expanded much further. When open interest represents 4 or 5 times the available registered metal, the system depends even more heavily on predictable behavior. Predictability is stability, but predictability is not guaranteed. Financialization has increased the distance between physical reality and financial representation. Silver today is traded not only by industrial users and miners, but by hedge funds, algorithmic traders, retail investors, and exchange-traded funds. Each group has different motives. Some trade momentum, some trade macro signals, some trade currency weakness. Few trade with the intention of receiving metal. As long as intentions remain financial, the imbalance stays theoretical. The system functions because participants trust that, if needed, delivery would occur. That trust reduces the need to test the system. However, when inventory levels decline while open interest remains elevated, perception begins to shift. Observers start to calculate ratios. They begin to ask whether registered stocks are sufficient under stress conditions. It is important to understand the difference between eligible and registered silver. Eligible silver meets exchange standards but is not designated for delivery. Registered silver is committed inventory. In theory, eligible metal can be converted to registered status. In practice, that decision depends on the owners of the metal. They must choose to make it available. Ownership matters. If holders of eligible silver prefer to retain control rather than register it, available supply remains tight. If they register it, short-term pressure can ease. These internal decisions are not always visible to the public. This layered structure, paper contracts above registered inventory, above eligible holdings, above mined supply, creates a pyramid of claims. At the top, contracts multiply quickly. At the base, physical supply grows slowly. Silver mining does not double in a year. Vault inventories do not expand instantly. Physical metal is constrained by geology, labor, energy, and capital investment. Paper supply, however, can expand with demand for exposure. This dynamic is not unique to silver. It reflects a broader trend in financial markets where derivatives volumes exceed underlying assets. The structure works as long as participants believe that only a fraction will ever request the base layer. For business leaders and entrepreneurs, this offers a lesson in system design. Efficiency often comes from abstraction, but abstraction increases dependency on confidence. When confidence is strong, leverage appears invisible. When confidence weakens, leverage becomes visible quickly. The current silver imbalance does not automatically signal failure. It signals expansion. It shows how far financial representation has stretched relative to physical inventory. If delivery demand remains low, the structure continues. If delivery demand rises unexpectedly, the structure must adapt in real time. The next phase of this story is not about speculation. It is about response. How the system reacts under pressure will determine whether the imbalance remains theoretical or becomes operational. Entrepreneurs observing this dynamic should recognize a familiar principle. Systems designed for average conditions can struggle under peak demand. Silver also occupies a unique position in the global economy. Unlike gold, which is largely a monetary metal, silver has extensive industrial applications. Solar energy expansion, electronics manufacturing, electric vehicles, and medical technologies rely on steady supply. If exchange stress spills into the physical market, supply chain managers notice immediately. Procurement costs rise, margins tighten. Strategic inventory planning becomes more urgent. There's also a global dimension. Emerging markets often monitor precious metals as signals of currency confidence. A visible delivery strain in silver could influence broader commodity sentiment. Investors may shift capital toward physical assets. Financial flows adjust accordingly. It is important to emphasize that none of these scenarios guarantee collapse. Markets possess adaptive mechanisms. Exchanges can modify margin requirements. They can adjust delivery rules. They can coordinate with large participants to maintain order. But adaptation itself reveals pressure. When a system must change rules or incentives to maintain balance, observers understand that strain was real. The coming delivery window is therefore less about dramatic headlines and more about operational proof. Can the exchange process delivery smoothly under elevated ratios? Can it maintain trust without visible disruption? If the answer is yes, confidence strengthens. If the answer is uncertain, behavior shifts. In financial history, stress events often begin quietly. They start with questions about settlement. They evolve into broader reassessments of leverage and exposure. Silver's current imbalance places it at such a crossroads. The contracts are written, the inventory is reported, the countdown advances, and soon the market will demonstrate whether its structure remains theoretical or must withstand direct demand for metal. Ever heard of the Great Silver Squeeze? It's not just a story for Wall Street pros, it's a powerful lesson for every business leader. Let's break down what happened and what you can learn from it, because these lessons could save your company one day. In early 2021, a massive wave of retail investors, organized online, decided to buy physical silver and silver-backed assets. Their goal was to expose a potential shortage in the market, believing that the amount of silver being traded on paper far exceeded the actual physical silver available for delivery. This created a huge imbalance. Suddenly, everyone wanted their silver delivered, and the system creaked under the pressure. Prices spiked, and the big players who had bet against silver found themselves in a very tight spot. So, what are the takeaways for a business leader? First, leverage. The silver market was running on massive leverage, meaning huge positions were controlled with very little actual capital down. When the market moved against them, those leveraged bets became ticking time bombs. In your business, how much are you relying on debt or extended credit lines? High leverage can amplify gains, but it can also magnify losses to a devastating degree. Always ask, can we survive a sudden market shock? Second, liquidity. When the squeeze happened, liquidity in the silver market dried up. It became incredibly difficult to buy or sell large quantities without drastically affecting the price. For your business, this is about cash flow. Do you have enough liquid assets to cover your short-term obligations, even if a major client pays late or a key supplier demands upfront payment? A profitable business can still go bankrupt if it runs out of cash. Liquidity is your company's oxygen. Finally, and most importantly, counterparty trust. The entire financial system, and indeed all of business, runs on trust. Trust that contracts will be honored, that deliveries will be made, and that your partners will fulfill their obligations. The silver squeeze cast doubt on this fundamental principle. It made people question if they would actually get the metal they were promised. In your own operations, how much do you truly know about your key suppliers, customers, and financial partners? Are their promises reliable even under pressure? Due diligence isn't a one-time task. It's a continuous process. The silver squeeze was more than just market drama. It was a real-world stress test that revealed the dangers of excessive leverage, the critical need for liquidity, and the fragile nature of counterparty trust. By applying these lessons, you can build a more resilient, robust, and trustworthy business that's prepared for whatever the market throws at it. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, be sure to like and subscribe for more insights on building a stronger business. For experienced business leaders, the silver delivery imbalance is not only a commodity story, it is a structural lesson about leverage, liquidity, and counterparty trust. Entrepreneurs often focus on growth. They examine revenue, margins, expansion strategy, and competitive advantage. Yet behind every successful enterprise lies an invisible foundation: reliable systems, banking systems, payment systems, supply systems, contract enforcement systems. The silver market represents one of those systems. When paper claims rise significantly above physical inventory, the structure depends on behavior remaining stable. This is not unusual in finance. Banks operate on fractional reserves. Corporations issue more claims than immediate cash on hand. Insurance companies calculate based on expected, not maximum claims. The model works because demand is predictable, but wise decision makers understand that predictability is a variable, not a constant. If silver delivery proceeds smoothly, the system confirms its resilience. If strain appears, even temporarily, the signal extends beyond precious metals. It indicates how modern markets handle concentrated stress. For capital allocators, the first lesson is counterparty awareness. A futures contract is not metal. An exchange-traded fund share is not a bar in hand. A financial promise is only as strong as the system behind it. In normal times, this distinction appears irrelevant. In stressed times, it becomes critical. Entrepreneurs managing treasury reserves may consider diversification not only across asset classes, but across custody structures. Physical ownership carries different risks than synthetic exposure. Neither approach is inherently superior, but each serves a distinct purpose. The second lesson is leverage discipline. High leverage amplifies returns during stability. It also magnifies vulnerability during stress. The silver ratio, 4 or 5 claims per ounce, demonstrates how leverage can expand quietly over time. Businesses operate similarly. Debt can accelerate expansion. It can also compress flexibility when revenue fluctuates. Observing market leverage reminds decision makers to evaluate their own exposure levels. The third lesson concerns supply chain security. Silver is not merely an investment instrument, it is an industrial input. Solar panel manufacturers, electronics producers, and medical device companies depend on it. If delivery stress causes physical premiums to rise, procurement teams face immediate cost pressure. Forward-thinking firms often maintain strategic inventories or long-term supplier contracts to buffer volatility. The current situation reinforces the importance of resilience planning. Beyond immediate business strategy lies a broader macroeconomic implication. Precious metals often serve as indicators of monetary confidence. When imbalances appear between paper and physical markets, observers begin to question liquidity across other asset classes. Confidence shifts gradually before it shifts visibly. For young entrepreneurs building ventures in a complex financial world, this environment offers a practical education. Markets are layered systems of agreements. Growth cycles encourage expansion of claims. Eventually, arithmetic tests those expansions. History shows that stress events do not always lead to collapse. More often, they lead to recalibration. Exchanges may strengthen rules. Participants may reduce leverage. Transparency may improve. The system adapts, and a new equilibrium forms. However, those who prepare before recalibration often preserve capital more effectively than those who react afterward. The silver delivery window functions as a transparency event. It reveals how much the system relies on contract rollover versus physical settlement. It shows how institutions respond when ratios widen. It highlights the difference between theoretical liquidity and operational supply. For serious decision makers, the correct response is not panic. It is observation and preparation. They monitor settlement data. They track registered inventory levels. They observe physical premiums in retail markets. They assess whether incentives are offered for cash settlement. These signals indicate whether pressure is contained or increasing. Strategic patience is essential. Markets can remain imbalanced longer than expected. They can also adjust rapidly when confidence shifts. Entrepreneurs who maintain liquidity buffers, diversify counterparties, and avoid excessive leverage position themselves to navigate either outcome. The larger lesson is simple but often overlooked. Arithmetic eventually matters. Narratives may dominate headlines, opinions may fluctuate daily, but balance sheets, inventory reports, and delivery notices operate on measurable quantities. If the system absorbs delivery demand without disruption, it demonstrates structural resilience. If it struggles, even briefly, it reminds the market that paper expansion has limits. In business, as in finance, sustainable growth requires alignment between promises and resources. The coming days in the silver market will offer a clear example of whether that alignment remains intact. For those watching carefully, the signal will extend far beyond silver itself.